Hi, Lulu again, compulsive overeater. Following up more with the promises. The next promise is self-pity disappears. And I'll just read this little section under here. The fifth promise seems improbable to those who are still eating. It tells us that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We actually do find our lives become manageable. Before we surrendered to reality, we compulsive overeaters considered ourselves failures. We felt inadequate, undeserving, rejected, unlucky, betrayed, and unimportant. What's the use? Who cares? Summed up our views on life and death. Self-pity was our only solace. Self-respect during abstinence will come slowly but steadily. We learn to be patient. The miracle of rediscovering purpose in life comes to us if we give it time. We find the joy of living a second lifetime, all filled with caring and sharing and love and service. As we progress from useless to purposeful living, our thinking becomes positive. We act with gratitude and humility. Constructive thinking reveals we are always basically what we think we are. When we believe ourselves failures, we are failures. When we live free of self-pity and with a positive outlook, we build our open-mindedness and our willingness for spiritual growth. The antidote for self-pity is action. Self-pity is revealed as selfishness, unwarranted pride, and an unhealthy ego. Self-pity is an extension of self-absorption and leads losers to depend on cop-outs to explain why the program failed to work for them. Self-pity has never grasped the truth that recovery program has few failures but many quitters. We start feeling sorry for ourselves when our demands are rejected for everything on our terms. We ultimately understand that we can't work this program our way. We stop trying easier, softer ways and holding on to old ideas. Growth becomes easier after we develop a willingness to go to any length to arrive at solid abstinence. Wow. So, self-pity. How many pity parties have I had in my life? I'd even send out invitations to the party. Come on over, listen to all my crap. Listen to how life has just screwed me over. Look at what I got to deal with. You'd eat too. You'd drink too. I love where it says we can find the joy of self-respect during abstinence will come slowly and steadily. I think self-pity is kind of goes hand in hand with a lack of self-respect. Like, I really gotta love myself to really do life better, do life right, do life a new way. And there I stand, despising myself. So how does it even make sense that I'm not gonna feel bad for myself? I'm gonna love them all. They tell me I'm gonna love, oh, we'll love you until you love yourself. Oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just the ears, just like where it says, you just gotta give it time. In time, I went from hearing blah, 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 to hearing that there was the joy of a second lifetime, filled with caring and sharing and love and service. You have to kind of trust the people, I guess I thought I was listening to like a lot of just those slogan things and just like all the things that people say to get you to stay. And I'm just like, what do they want from me? They must want something from me, They don't understand me. I got it worse than them. It's just that pity party. It's just pitiful. Constructive thinking reveals we are always basically what we think we are. As long as I think that's what I am, why wouldn't I have a pity party? Especially if I got the food down, especially if I first come to program, I'm putting the food down because I want what you have, but I'm still a sorry sack, you know? Um, you know, basically what I think I am is who I become. So I'll continue to feel that way until I start entertaining the ideas of, let's go back to the promise before, other people's experience can benefit me. When I hear of people, when they sit with me and say, yeah, I've been there, I've had those parties, those pity parties, I felt bad for myself, I hated myself, you know um, and you know something, just stick around. I mean, it's just what we say. You just got to keep, everything is just like, we have to give it time. Things take time. We don't just change like the flick of a switch. All of a sudden, I'm not a jerk anymore. I'm not selfish anymore. Nothing makes me mad anymore. I'm just like fluttering through the meadows of daisies and pansies. That's just not how it goes. You have to go through the friggin' mud and the quicksand and the thorns and everything, and you got to go through it. You can't go around it. And so when this is a promise, this says that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. So all of a sudden now, well, not all of a sudden, with time, but you know something, what's time? Time is, anything before today useful, but it's history. It's history that um, that can be useful. The future, well, I don't want to be a fortune teller. I don't want to be a historian. I just want to kind of stay in today. Today, what I can see very clearly is I feel very caring. I can feel that I care about people, places, and things in a way that I hadn't before. Sharing, would never tell anybody anything that wasn't perfect about me. I would never. I didn't even think anyone really. Maybe I thought maybe people didn't even know I was fat. You know, like this sure won't make me look fat. They won't know how much I gained. It's crazy, right? Um, that sharing, that openness to actually talk to people about the way I ate. I never talked about that. To when we get to our step 6 and 7, when we're talking about character defects, who the heck wants to look at character defects about themselves? I'll find all yours in 2 seconds, but I'm not I'm not going to find mine. And if I'm going to consider it, I ain't going to talk about it. I'm going to change it quick before anyone notices. Doesn't even make any sense. Today I can share openly. It's because of the fears. That's one of the other promises that fears will slip away. The fear of other people's opinions, like like, am I going to not share something because I care and because it's useful to somebody else? Because I'm afraid of somebody else's opinion? Am I afraid to like not be myself because I'm afraid of other people's opinions? Um, there's people that like me and there's people that don't like me. Like it said, like I can be the juiciest, ripest peach, but there's always somebody that hates peaches. So it's like, what are you gonna do? My job isn't to go around and make sure everybody likes me. The relationship I have with myself today, there's no room for self-pity because it's with God. 2 peas in a pod, me and God. Anything that I question in my life that would make me feel useless or that I was pitiful, I take it to God and find the truth. That's that step 2, where I'm going to be restored to sanity, um, which is sane thoughts, which are thoughts in proportion to reality. And when I take it to God, I just know, I get the truth. I just get the truth. So I don't feel useless anymore. In fact, I feel extremely useful. Um, whether I am or not, I don't know. Everybody that goes on to these meetings and shares, useful. They may hang up from that meeting and be still having pity parties. If they've just started the work, they could still feel bad for themselves, but they are useful whether they know it or not yet, you know? So when did I realize that I was useful and that I didn't need to feel bad for myself? That totally just uh, interrupted and distracted me from anything that was important, is my favorite sentence in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous on the top of page 77. My real purpose is to fit myself to be of maximum service to God and those people about me. If I am feeling useless, that is not fitness. That is not me being fit. I can't fit myself. I can't be useful to God and those people around me if I'm feel bad for myself and I feel useless. I mean, so my fitness program is to stay in love with God and in love with myself in a real healthy, practical way that God doesn't want me. And that's not like, you can love yourself and be humble at the same time. It's really interesting. Because humility, that's a whole nother topic. I just don't really believe I had a humble bone in my body, and I see glimpses of ways in which I'm humble that I never saw before. And I just watch it. I just watch my life like a movie. I don't know when and if I'm going to get it right today and wrong tomorrow, and I'm going to do okay. I'm going to be useful today, and today somebody told me to shut up or whatever. It's all good. It's just all good. Um, I don't feel bad for myself today because I see the gift that life is. Life is a gift every day. I mean, how awesome! Only by the grace of God that I'm not hurting myself with food anymore, and I'm not hurting myself in other ways. Feeling useless, having pity parties, like eating and hurting myself. All those things hurt me, you know? And when these promises come true and you just weed, it's just pulling up all these weeds out of your life. And you just like wake up in the morning and open your eyes and you're just like, it's just, I haven't even put my feet on the floor yet. And it's just going to be a good day, you know? When you have that level of trust, this is a program of trusting. When you surrender, you trust. It's not weakness, it's strength. I always thought that surrendering everything meant I'm weak, I'm stupid, I can't do it, I need help. But basically, it took every ounce of strength I could muster up to surrender. So actually, it came from a place of strength. But that took time too. That didn't happen with one person saying one thing. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I got to do my own research and development, you know? And then these seeds kept being planted because I was listening. I was listening because um, I wanted self-pity to disappear. I didn't want to feel bad for myself anymore. And I did want to feel useful, in a meaningful way. And that's what I got on this.
Thank you, Lulu. So it just makes me think about what I've heard them say or what I haven't been to an AA meeting, but I hear in AA they say, pour me a drink a lot, so, but I think it applies here to pour me a donut. I don't know. So those pity parties, that's what keeps me sick. Like if I'm in self-pity, I can't see past myself. And where was it for me that began to pull me out of the pity party? And I'm going to say began because occasionally I am in a pity party again and I have to do a 10 step and then I get out of it. So I'm going to say that the 4th step, writing out my pity party, all those things that are so sad and all those things that people did to me and the things that happened to me and all that stuff, by the time I get to step 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, the party's over. They're just gone. It's sorry guys, pity party's over because I did all those things to myself. You know, nobody did anything to me. In fact, I had a beautiful one yesterday that didn't get done in my 4th step, not because I omitted it purposefully, but because I didn't feel resentment at the time I was writing my 4th step. But some resentment kind of resurfaced, some fear resurfaced. And so it's like, oh, okay. So I did some research and wrote out this 4th step. And what I might, I don't feel resentful towards this person at the time, but I wrote one as though I was back 10 years ago when I did feel this resentment. And it was so interesting. It was so great to just write it out and just be like, wow, I did all that. Wow, she didn't do any of that. I did it. I was like, well, party's over. Okay, time to move out of that self-pity. And even though I wasn't really fully in the self-pity, I could see where I had been. And so it's just a new level of freedom and a new gratitude for life. I'm going to tell you, a gratitude party is a whole heck of a lot better than a pity party. Oh my gosh. And the gratitude in this process, like that just grows and grows and grows the more work you do. And it's just, I'm going to say that pity will just grow and grow and grow the less work you do. And again, it'll be pour me a drink. So I don't want to stay in that pour me, for any length of time. The minute I find that that restless, irritability and discontentment, I want out because I know there's something better. I've experienced it. And so it's just kind of like, okay, it's going to be a little bit painful to look at it under a microscope, but then it sets me free every single time. So, just there is actually, I'm going to say I'm also grateful for the pity party because the pity party is what brought me here. So there is value in all of it. There's value in every experience. There's value in the pain. There's value in the hurt. There's value in the resentment because all of it, if I allow it to, if I do the work, will bring me closer to my higher power. So again, just I don't want to be in that pity. I don't want to. I want to be well. And I just invite you also, if you're in that party, come join the gratitude party. Come join the peace party. We're having a peace party every Tuesday. Come on over. Thanks for letting me share. Lulu, do you have anything else you want to add?
Just real quick, I just wanted to point out that where it says the 5th promise states that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. It doesn't say, just in case you were feeling useless and had pity parties for yourself, it will disappear. It just assumes you do. It assumes that you feel that way because this is where we are all the same. All these promises that we've been reading, it's kind of like, no matter how far down the scale you've gone, it's kind of like, it's not like you haven't gone down the scale. Like it just assumes that you've gone down the scale. Like, yeah, you went down, girl, And so all of these promises, we won't regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. That's assuming that we have a past that could be regretted. Yeah, we all have that too, We'll comprehend the word serenity, we'll know peace, assuming that you're not peaceful. most people that are active addicts are not peaceful. So all of these promises is, it's not like, oh yeah, raise your hand if you have self-pity, and like only half the people. No, it's just, it goes, it's part of the package deal of like an addictive in an addict's mind, where we all relate to each other and identify with each other, like we talked about the last promise. You just identify with people in so many ways because we all tick in so many similarities. We tick the same way, but we're all different in how it uh, manifests into who we are and how we act, behave, and speak and present ourselves to people. It all manifests a little bit differently because we all have different self-seeking behaviors. We're all afraid of different things, but we all have kind of the same core kind of a DNA thing, I guess, in a way. This is what I've discovered. I really haven't met many people in program that are all that much different than me at the core of what we're talking about here, about addiction. I can identify with everyone, and it's, thank God, I have a place where there's people that think like me, or this would be a lonely life, you know.
Yeah, I have one more thought, if I may. Just thinking about a pity party, the pain, the joy, all of it. So this thought, I'll just share this thought. Growth is the whole point of this experience. Pain is part of growth. Joy is also part of growth. You can't have growth without pain. You can't have joy without pain. And you can't have growth without joy and pain. You see, they all work together. Embrace the growth, embrace the pain, and embrace the joy. They all move you closer to God as you choose the growth. And with that, I'll pass.
Oh, that was beautiful.